I'm Taylor Zarzour, and this is the OTP. Oh, Amie.
What a heartbreaker.
Oh.
Yeah, that's pretty much all you can say.
Those are my comments. And
Yeah, it's less a commentary and more just like an emotion.
A sound?
Yeah, because it just, you felt like you were right there. And, I mean, you actually physically were right there. And it's just so frustrating. One or two things go in a different direction. It's a completely different game. And I know we say that a lot, but it really felt like, Taylor Zarzour, I need you to know I ran. And I don't run.
Wait, what?
Yeah, exactly. I know.
You've already told me how much you don't like it.
I do not run. But to get from the field up to the booth for the last 30 seconds of the game, because I didn't want to miss anything, I sprinted.
I did notice you were in the booth very quickly.
Up multiple flights of stairs because I didn't want to miss it. That is how invested I was in the Titans getting a win. I also, because we've talked on this show about how I feel the need randomly to get very high or very low in moments of like football drama, I was standing on a swivel chair, which is not recommended.
I don't like that.
And I know for sure Joseph Bonanno, who's our great Titans radio engineer, was looking at me and was like, what?
You're going to fall.
What is she doing? Like, why is this the time to be doing this? But I had to be up high.
So where I thought, okay, I was about to ask you.
I had to be up high.
I was about to ask you what it feel like, that game-tying drive on the field, and
I
did not know you were right behind me.
I was standing in a swivel chair behind you, risking my life on wheels so that I could be as high as physically possible. You didn't even know I was standing right behind you.
I got pretty excited on that jig catch.
You sure did.
Yeah, I did.
You sure did.
Look, there's a lot to unpack here. The heartbreak of another loss is certainly at the top of the list. I know a lot of people are going to say no moral victories and all that sort of thing, and there's frustration, and certainly there was plenty of that on Sunday. But I will tell you, like, I was really impressed with the way the defense played against the Houston Texans throughout the game on Sunday. To have Jeff Simmons and T'Vondre Sweat lining up next to each other for an entire game.
It felt good,
It did feel good. And Jeff Simmons, we were told, was going to be on a pitch count. And Jeff Simmons played the whole football game.
Yeah.
Good luck getting Jeff Simmons, number 98, off of the football field. He's got at least 5. Let's see. I've got it right here in my notes. Jeff Simmons has at least 5 sacks for the 5th straight year.
Yep.
That's pretty impressive. Only 4 other Titans / Oilers have ever done that. Ray Childress, William Fuller, Jarrell Casey, and Sean Jones are the others. But that's
rare.
That's really rare air. So he was back to playing at his incredible level. Cedric Gray had 11 more tackles in the game, Amie. He now has 98 tackles for the season. That's the most that any Titan has had through their first 10 games in 25 years. We had our buddy Stephen Tulloch in the booth before the game, and Gray passed Tulloch for the most tackles through 10 games. He was outstanding in the game. Cody Barton with a great sack on a turnover on downs to start the game.
Huge.
You really did. Arden Key had a couple of sacks. Arden comes back and plays really well. So I love seeing that. And then, look, the offense was sputtering. It was sputtering in parts because Calvin Ridley, gosh, you just really hate to see this. Broken fibula, first catch of the game.
Yep.
Cam to Calvin. You're so excited to see that again. He's worked so hard to get back, and he has that injury after a 13-yard catch. But you don't have Calvin. For some of the game, you didn't have Chim.
Yep.
And you're trying to get used to new receivers out there on the field. And to lead the team on a 95-yard drive like that and tie the game was so encouraging, especially given the way the defense played. So, yeah, this one hurts.
Well, there are a couple different things about that drive, too, that were very impressive. First, it was the amount of people that were able to be involved and contribute. That Chig catch was amazing. Seeing guys like Van Jefferson show up in big ways and Mason Kinsey and all of those guys step up into the moment was huge. Also, seeing Cam Ward's leadership and the way he continues
Yes.
to grow, not only as a player on the field, not only as a game manager, but just as the guy that's in charge, as the steadying force of the offense. He's a rookie player, and it can be really hard to walk into those situations with guys who are older than you in a lot of situations, who have played more football, and say, hey, guys, it's okay. I got this. Like, we're going to be okay. We just have to keep going. And this game against the Houston Texans was the first time that I saw Cam Ward on the field, on the sidelines, in all the different places, like being the vocal leader that you expect to see. Not to say that he hasn't been a leader before.
No, you just saw more of it.
He's been doing a good job. But to see him going down and saying, hey, guys, we got to stay in it, holding people accountable when they needed to be held accountable, but in a way that said, we can keep going. We can fix this. It's going to be okay. I need you to trust me. That's what you want to see out of a leader in that position.
Especially, Amie, given how you're facing the best defense in the National Football League.
Yep.
You know, Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson are collectively probably the best duo of pass rushers in the league. Hunter had a sack. Anderson had a forced fumble and fumble recovery, and Cam was able to overcome that.
Yep.
And what we'll talk to Coach McCoy about that I really like from Cam in the game is how he stepped up and took off and used his legs a couple of times to keep moving the football down the field. The 20-yard gain on the last drive of the game where he used his legs. And then certainly that throw that, to me, I know the Io Manor back shoulder touchdown, his first touchdown that he threw was incredible. But the throw that he made to Chig Okonkwo for 39 yards on a 3rd and 16, perfectly dropping in the bucket. Chig with an unbelievable job to make that catch, which led, of course, to the Van Jefferson touchdown. Those are special moments. Those are the moments you really wanted to see from Cam and from this offense.
Well, and how excited was Chig after that catch? Like, did you see his celebration? I knew Chig had it in him, but
that was a guttural
it was just
yell.
Pure emotional excitement. And seeing that passion from this team, it still exists.
Yes.
It is in there. These guys want to win these football games. So, like, those are the moments that we are living for. Those moments where a guy makes that great play and he is able to really contribute to this team having success and continuing to push forward.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. That's just the best.
Yeah, and I know leaving the booth that Coach Mack was devastated by the 3rd and 16. Mills to Collins that gave the Texans a 17-yard completion in a first down, and it led to Matthew Wright, who was with us a few weeks ago, making that game-winning field goal, and the Texans end up topping the Titans 16-13. But the hope is what you just said can carry over, Amie, that the belief this team still has, the culture that is so strong, all these young players and the big impact that they're having on this team, especially their quarterback, can carry over, not just against Seattle this weekend, but for the duration of the season. And why does that matter? It matters because the more success and the more good moments that these young players have will lead to better moments next year. And you just think of a couple of examples in the National Football League in recent memory. The Detroit Lions, I mean, for a long time, were one of the worst teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
Up until 3-4 years ago. And now, the last couple of years, they've been one of the best. And if you go back to the end of the 2022 season, the Lions were able to turn things around with a team that was not going to the playoffs, but they had a bunch of wins at the back end of the season that really kind of got their wheels turning and got them in motion for 2023. Or 2024, I guess I should say. And they're still one of the best teams in the league. The New England Patriots last year, Drake May was going through some of this last year. And you see at the level he's playing at right now. Having those moments of success in a season where you're not going to go to the playoffs, it's important for the future. It's
important because you have to learn how to win in this league.
Yes.
And it sounds like such a stupid thing to say because, like, what do you mean? Winning's the best part. But you've got to learn how to finish a game. You've got to learn how to string those big moments together. When your team and your starters especially are so young. You've got to learn how to put all this stuff together. And so having those moments of success and then stringing a couple moments of success together and then stringing quarters together and halves and then 3/4 and then, oh my gosh, we got to win. All of that comes. And we've been through a lot of that this season. I'm not saying those are the things we still have to accomplish. We've done a lot of those things. But this team is still coming together. It's building that foundation. And then guess what you do? You add more good players on top of the good foundation that has learned what this looks like, and you continue to build up. It's how you build a house. And I know it, again, seems pretty basic, but you have to have a good foundation or your house is going to fall down. Yeah. And we don't need our houses falling down, folks.
Well said.
We need to build a strong foundation and then put more good on top of that to continue forward.
Well said. And I really believe there's a lot of that's going on right now, and I still firmly believe we're going to see some wins here in the back half of the season. Now, to peel the curtain back, Amie has given me a hard time, and, maybe as a rookie myself here with the Titans, you've given me a hard time because I made a comment about how hot it was to start the season, and then a few weeks ago I made a comment about how cold it was, and you didn't take either one of those comments well, even though I meant them in love.
I know. It's just, you're inside. I'm outside.
Sort of, yeah. No, you're feeling all of the elements, no question. But the window is open in Booth 7.
It is.
You loved the weather yesterday, though.
Holy smokes. Can we talk about the weather yesterday? It was the perfect day. It was one of those days where if you're standing in the sun, you are equal parts warm and toasty, and then a cool breeze would come by, and you're like, oh, that feels nice, too. Like, it was just the perfect day. And what's funny is that my resting football face is one of what looks like frustration and anger, and it's just that I'm thinking.
I've seen this face. Yeah. You're pretty much, like, if one of the teams is at the north 20-yard line, you are basically right in my picture.
Yeah.
And I've seen Thinking Amie on display.
And it looks like dissatisfaction. I'm just trying to figure it out. It's just working in there. But I was grinning a lot on the sidelines. And multiple people came up and they were like, well, gosh, you look happy today. And I was like, this weather's amazing. Something about sunshine. It felt like we needed, it was so cold. It was snowing here recently. It felt like we needed just like a good Nashville fall day, and that's exactly what we got. There is nothing better than fall in Nashville. And I will fist fight anybody who tries to tell me otherwise because it is so perfect. Fall in Nashville is the absolute best.
Yes, it is.
It just is.
It's the colors here. Are just amazing, and this time of year is a lot of fun. So
great.
Hopefully we have some Titans wins that go with those fun moments here in the near future. Just a reminder, the Seattle Seahawks are coming to Nashville this Sunday to play the Titans at 12 o'clock. Then the Jacksonville Jaguars are coming the Sunday after Thanksgiving. So 2 more home games for the Titans go on the road. And for some reason, Amie Wells just doesn't want to come on the road, and she's going to send Will Bowling to the Pinnacle Sidelines in Cleveland, Ohio.
Yep, best of luck to you, Will. Toodles. I'll take the nice weather games here in Nashville. But excited about both of those matchups. This is our first Jags matchup. Of the season, which is very exciting because, the Titans and Jags, the history there is just phenomenal. It's like a college rivalry, and I love it so much. Have you heard the story of the time I fought the Jags player?
I have, yes.
I was going to say, because if not, stay tuned. In a couple weeks, I'll tell you the tale.
When you have 2 chances, too. Since we play them here and play them there.
Yeah, my epic fight that I tell the story once a year.
We look forward to that. It makes the rounds in the office.
Hey, football fans, satisfy your halftime hunger with Snickers, and you could win sweet prizes this NFL season. Visit Snickers.com/halftime to enter and view the official rules. Pick up Snickers at a Kroger near you. When you bring Hellman's Creamy Buffalo Chicken Dip to the watch party, you can cheer too loud or block the TV or be a couch coach, and no one will eject you from the game. That's a Hail Mayo. Hellman's, the official mayo of the Tennessee Titans.
Titans fans, SeatGeek is the official primary ticketing partner of Tighten Up and here to help you experience all the action this season. SeatGeek makes it easy to find the perfect seats to the perfect game so you can be part of all the touchdown celebrations and momentum-shifting takeaways this season. Whether you're getting tickets to Titans games or to any live event in Nashville, SeatGeek is the place to do it. SeatGeek is the official primary ticketing partner of the Tennessee Titans.
Hey Titans fans, with a Kroger Boost membership, you'll score big with double fuel points, free delivery, and lots more. Go to Kroger.com/boost for details. Kroger, the official grocer of the Tennessee Titans. Tighten up.
Coach, it's a fine line between winning and losing in the National Football League, and you have lived it for a couple of decades. And unfortunately, the last couple of weeks have really been gut-wrenching for the Titans because you're right there against the Chargers and certainly right there against the Texans.
Yeah, it's never losing any game. Regardless what the score is, however it comes out, you always look at it and you look at every game, every play throughout the game, you just say, where could have there been a difference? And, unfortunately, if you don't play your best football week in and week out, and make the plays when you need to, that's what happens. So we got to do a better job of, finding a way to make that one play to separate us and to win football games.
But wouldn't you argue that you've seen improvement in that regard if you look at all of the plays that make up a game, from the Patriots game to the Colts game to the Chargers to now with the Texans? Wouldn't you argue that that gap is closer than it was a few weeks ago?
Yeah, you look at all the positives week in, week out, but still it's about winning.
Yeah.
And, you look at there's a lot of positives from this game. I know we'll talk about them, but it's just a matter of, of finding that, I just mentioned earlier, of finding a way to make that play to say, okay, you won the football game. Mm-hmm. And that's the most important thing, is finding a way to do that. But, yeah, they are, they're playing their tails off. They're playing extremely hard. We just got to be more consistent for 4 quarters.
Let's get to the positives here in just a moment. Before we do that, Coach, just a word on Calvin Ridley, a guy that was voted a captain this offseason. I was there on the stage at the captain's dinner when we announced who the team captains were, and I happened to be standing right next to him when they put the C on his jersey. He had tears in his eyes, and I said, pretty powerful. And he said, it's the first time I've ever been voted a captain in my life. And he was all in with this team, and obviously had some injuries and overcame those injuries in order to rejoin the Titans. Makes a 13-yard grab on the first offensive play, and unfortunately a broken leg, and his season's over. It's just, that's the hardest part of the league, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the tough part of this business. And having spent a year in Jacksonville with him and know Calvin and know how hard he works and, what he does day to day, year to year to be successful in this league. It's just that he's worked so hard to get back to where he was the other day, and next after one play he's out, and it's just that's the tough part of this. That you look at it, you feel for those players because they put so much into this, and they want to not only be successful themselves, but they want to help the team. And that's the great thing about some of these leaders on this team. And when you become a captain of what that means. And it's a special honor to say I'm the captain of an NFL team.
It is, and we're wishing him the best. It's still very much a member of the Tennessee Titans family, and everybody is pulling for him as he goes through this rehab process. Coach, without him on the field, and Chim Dike was lost for a portion of the game as well, how hard was it to go up against quite possibly the best defense in the National Football League?
Well, it was a definite challenge. We had a big plan for Calvin coming in and what he would do, and give the coaches credit for, you got to go in there, you got to adjust, and the players of saying, okay, hey, this was something maybe, I did not get that rep in practice, but that's every week when there's certain things that come up, and that's why you prepare and you go through all the offseason program, training camp, so when you do get that opportunity, somebody comes in and fills in for that guy. So we adjusted accordingly, and then obviously you finish the game after you've lost 3 receivers and give the players and the coaches a ton of credit for starting that 95-yard drive, and a lot of those guys weren't in those positions.
No, they weren't. And Gunnar Helm had 3 big catches on that last drive. Chig Okonkwo, obviously, with the catch of the day, almost a 40-yarder on a 3rd and long to put the Titans on the doorstep. before Van Jefferson from Brentwood, Tennessee, right here in this area, scores the game-tying touchdown. So, to your point, a number of Titans stepped up.
Yeah, that's what this game is all about, making the most of your opportunities and just adjusting on the fly. And that's what you do from week to week or game to game. You get out there and you lose one, you lose two, you lose a third, and that's okay. This is what we've got left, and this is what we've got to do. And you communicate on the sideline and talk to them about how we're going to do things, and then they understand. As Bo calls plays and puts them in there, he might be changing somebody, moving one of the guys that's an outside guy, just having those two guys flip, and then the two tight ends being there. Okay, you take this spot and kind of just go with it, and that's what they did. And like we've said all along here, it's about players, and give those guys a ton of credit of going and making the plays, especially when the game was on the line. And, for Cam, that's a big one for him to say you're always looking at his growth and how he did. And some of those balls that he, the throws that he made are special. So very happy for the way they executed that at the end of the game.
And not only the throws, Coach, for weeks you've been talking about it publicly. You've been saying, I want to see him take off. He's been saying, I need to take off. I need to keep the chains moving. And you were telling us last week when we visited, some of that's instinctual, that when you're born to make the play with your arm all of the time, it's hard for your mind to tell you take off and run. But he did it 3 different times that I can count of. He did it once in the third quarter, and then 2 times on that last drive. He had the 20-yarder, and then after the big throw, we've seen this a number of times this season where the Titans offense has taken a sack in a goal-to-go situation, and instead of being sacked, he moved forward and got inside the 5-yard line to give yourself a good chance to score on the next play.
Yeah, you talk about growth at all positions and how you're going to get better as a young player, and especially as a rookie, and that's something that was kind of the next step. That was the great thing to see in yesterday's game. And it just, he wants to drop back and throw the ball. He's not looking to run, but now he's kind of learning, early on, and now he's kind of learning. You talk about it. Nick talks about it. Bo talks about it. I've talked to him about it. It's just there's a time and place for that. I'm not saying you're looking to do it every time. You don't just eliminate number one in the progression and then take off, but there's a time and place for that, and he took advantage of that in the game, which was great. There's some big plays for us.
Yeah, and you hope that carries over, obviously, going into the Seattle game, which we will talk about coming up.
Home is at the forefront of all we do. It's why we're so committed to caring for the places and spaces in which we work and live. Ashley, the official furniture provider of the Tennessee Titans. Genesis is the first and only official jeweler of the Titans, having earned that title since 2006. Titans players, coaches, and fans trust Genesis for the absolute best in selection, quality, customer service, and of course, value. For diamonds, engagement rings, designer fashion jewelry, and the largest selection of luxury pre-owned Rolexes in Tennessee, Genesis is the hands-down winner. Genesis Diamonds in Green Hills and Cool Springs, the official jeweler of the Tennessee Titans. Little Caesars is the official pizza partner of your Tennessee Titans. Download the Little Caesars app and get your favorites delivered today. Delivery fees apply. Now back to the OTP.
Now, what about your defense? For all 60 minutes in the game, it felt like that unit gave you a chance to win the football game.
Yeah, they did some really nice things throughout the game. There's a couple plays, I think, but that's going to be any game you look at and you say, hey, I wish we would have done this differently, this and that. You hear it on the headsets, whether it's Denard, whether it's Bo, Bone, same thing as coordinators. There's things you say, God, you wish you have, put them in a different position, but it's about going out there and executing, I think. But, the spark that we got from having Arden and Jeff back out there on defense speaks for itself. Just to, when you break a huddle and from an offensive perspective, you go out there and you see those two guys out there, it's different with those two players, and especially the impact Jeff has inside, not only in passing situations, but in the run game. But very pleased, both Cody and Sed were playing downhill, making some plays, and so it's really good to see the way they were playing. And we had some young guys, obviously Kevin and Marcus playing the most they've played in a game this year. So there's a lot of positives, but there's a couple plays we wish we had back.
Kevin Winston and Marcus Harris both made some big-time plays in the game in the secondary. Both the rookies that you're talking about. Cody Barton had a sack on a turnover on downs in the first drive of the game. Arden Key, 2 sacks in the game. He had 4 pressures. And Jeff Simmons had 3 pressures, including a sack. This is the 5th year he's at least had 5 sacks in the season. And I want to mention all those guys, but there's also the nose guard position, Coach, which really that's the position that doesn't get a lot of stats. But how important is it to have Tavondre Sweat and Jeff Simmons lining up next to each other? We haven't really seen much of that before this game.
It's great to get them back together. Get those two guys out there. Those are two big men. And they clog up the middle and make the backs or do certain things and push in the pocket inside. So it's just great. It's great just to have everybody back out there together.
And one last thing to mention, Joey Slye tied a franchise record with his 7th 50-plus yard field goal of the season. Steven Gostkowski did that for the Titans back in 2020. So that's the most the Titans have ever had in a season is 7 50-plus yard field goals, and obviously we have a long ways to go. He certainly could break that record. What a weapon once you cross midfield.
Yeah, there's nothing like having that confidence when you're on offense to say, okay, hey, we've got to get to this spot, and that's going to change on a week-to-week basis depending on how's the wind, what direction you're going, all those things. But he's done an outstanding job for us.
It's such a wild league, Coach, that Matthew Wright, who was with us a month ago.
We actually talked about it before the game. I saw him, went and talked to him for a minute, and it was just kind of funny talking to him because I had asked him one day when he was here how many teams he had been with his career, and he was just going through the whole list of them all. It's just, but it says a lot about him. What other teams think about him when they need somebody on a short notice. They call him in, and he does a good job for him.
Yeah, he had the game winner for the Texans a month after he was with the Titans. I think the answer is 20, by the way. I think there's been 20 transactions in his professional career in the last 6 years. It's sort of wild. All right, the Seattle Seahawks are coming to town next, Coach. 7-3 to start the season, and they just had a heartbreaking loss to the Los Angeles Rams, had a chance, and ended up missing a game-winning field goal, losing a game by 2 at the Rams. But so far through the first 10 weeks of the season, they've been one of the best teams in the league. Why is that?
Well, I think their offense is very explosive. You look at what they've done offensively. Clint's done an outstanding job as the offensive coordinator there, and obviously bringing Sam in, learning the system on the fly quickly before, obviously the offseason program through training camp and everything. But he's played very efficient, and they're just very explosive. And then defense, Mike's always done a good job, being the coordinator. Obviously, he's the head coach, but, calling the defenses, doing everything. So it'll be a great challenge like every week in the NFL.
Mike McDonald, the head coach and defensive coordinator. And Sam Darnold is the quarterback of the Seahawks, who was with the Vikings last year. He was with the 49ers and the Panthers and the Jets before that. That's interesting to me that there's a couple quarterbacks in the league right now, Coach, in 2025, Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold, that all of a sudden have found their best after not working out with teams in the past.
Well, you look at any rookie, wherever you are, or any young player, because they obviously they were there in those places for a number of years. You always learn. You're always learning, and as you go week to week or year to year in the seasons, you get better and you learn more. And sometimes for players, I mean, I've been in it, since 2000, and a change of scenery is sometimes good for players. Sometimes you might be getting traded, or you might become a free agent and go to a better team. Or maybe you might play in a system that better suits you. And there's a number of different reasons of why players, that happens to certain players and quarterbacks in particular. But there's nothing like the experience. And I think you learn from each place, a couple more tricks to the trade on how to do things. And, Sam has done a great job.
I know that it's been challenging this year, and the Titans organization has gone through that the last couple of years. Can you just describe what the culture is like in your locker room, on the practice field, at Nissan Stadium right now? Because I've heard you say it off microphone a number of times that you really believe in the character of this team. So could you just give everyone listening what you think of the culture right now?
Well, I think that's critical for the success of any organization. It's the type of people you have in here. And that's the frustrating part right now, is that our record's what it is, and we hold each other accountable for that. But it's not for a lack of work ethic, attitude, preparation, all those things. I think the guys do a great job. The togetherness of the football team, that was something we talked about, of sticking together. There's been the ups and downs, and it's tough when your record's like this, but the only thing you can do is just keep working, and that's exactly what the guys do. The practices each week you get out of there and you say, I can't ask you to do much more. and just continue to work and keep going and do what you do and, stick together. And, we're a team together. We're all in this thing together, and we'll get out of this together. So, I'm very happy with the culture that's here and the way the guys work and the way they interact. And really, it's everybody in the organization. It's not just the players and coaches, but it's everybody in the organization, coming together as one. And, it's all about the players. So in the entire organization, we got to do everything to help these players. But I think it's a great culture here, and they're working their tails off.
I know you spend Mondays in the National Football League reflecting on what just happened before you move forward to what's next.
Yep.
Are you done with that with your team? Is it Seahawks time, or is there more to unpack?
Well, we've got one more little thing I've got to do in the media, and then it is on to the Seahawks.
On to the Seahawks. Yep. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, practicing. A lot of work done by the coaching staff on Tuesday. Yep. Before you get to the game on Sunday. I know how badly you want to win, Coach.
That's what it's all about, winning games. And it's sometimes you want to scream when things happen and it doesn't work, but you just keep going. There's only one way to get out of this is just keep working, show up the next day and keep going and try to find a way to win the next one. It doesn't matter what your record is. You're going in this week. You're going to prepare the same way. You're going to put all the hard work into it and keep going, and that's the only way to do it.
Thank you, Coach. We appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
I'm Taylor Zarzour. This has been the OTP.